Sebetulnya nggak baik-baik, Mbak Lu. Tapi semakin banyak masalah, makin seru dikontenin tuh, Mbak.
At the beginning of the movie, Ning, her daughter Nirmala, and her mother, Yutiya, are moving to another town with a man, Solomon. He reassures Ning that it's for a better life. Later, while Solomon is out of the car, Yutiya asks, "Are you sure, Ning?" suggesting that they could have moved without him and questions Ning's trust in him. Ning insists Solomon is a good man and she wants a better financial life for Nirmala and Yutiya. Just then, Solomon returns, informing them that his ATM card is blocked and asks Ning for cash, assuring her that he will return it the next day. Several months later, Solomon confesses to Ning that he has been performing the Kung Kun Kadung ritual to gain wealth and blessings. Ning confronts him, saying everyone knows you are a fraud. Solomon taunts her, claiming that people like them have limited choices. When she refuses to take part in the ritual, he slaps her hard, forcing her into submission. Reluctantly, she agrees, but begs him not to harm Nirmala or Yutiya. As they prepare for the ritual, Solomon explains that if he loses consciousness, she must pull the rope with all her strength. He then steps away and leaps into the water. Something hits his head, and he loses the control. Seizing the moment, Ning deliberately lets go of the rope. Then, in anger, she throws the ritual items and watches Solomon disappearing into the depths. 2 weeks later, Ning, Nirmala, and Yutiya are living in a small house. Ning urges Nirmala to hurry up, as she needs to drop her off at her tutor, Mr. Tetsuya, who teaches her origami. Yutiya also used to work for Mr. Tetsuya at his home. Ning calls out to them, and soon, Nirmala and Yutiya step out of the house, ready to go. Later, while Ning is at work, she buys a swimsuit for Nirmala. A man then stops her and demands the money that Solomon took from him. His son intervenes, but the man accuses Solomon of being a fake soldier and asks about his whereabouts. However, his son manages to take him away. It is then revealed that Ning works as a bus driver. Later, she goes to pick up her mother and Nirmala from Mr. Tetsuya's house on her scooter. However, Nirmala comes out crying in Yutiya's arms. Concerned, Ning asks what happened, but Yutiya simply says, "Let's go home first." Without further questions, they leave. On the way, Nirmala keeps crying. At one point, Ning stops. Yutiya warns Ning to take the left path, as the right is dangerous, but Ning chooses the faster route. Yutiya asks, "Are you sure, Ning?" Soon, they hit a broken road and crash. They all fall. After some time, Ning regains consciousness and immediately starts searching for Nirmala and her mother. Just then, a man appears and warns her that the path ahead is dangerous. She tells him she is looking for her daughter, but the man takes her away. Later, the rescue team arrives, and Ning urgently informs a man that her daughter is still missing. A few moments later, some people bring Yutiya's lifeless body and place it in an ambulance. Just then, Yutiya's ghost appears near the river and whispers, "Are you sure, Ning?" The scene cuts to a swimming coach, Turta, motivating a kid to get into the water, but he is scared to go. Just then, her co-coach Gus arrives and informs her that the kid is the son of a head police who wants to make his son athlete, already paid a year's fee. Turta goes back to the kid and throws him into the pool, and Gus saves him. The scene cuts to the rescue team searching for Nirmala. Desperate, Ning pleads with them to check every corner. Due to her unstable mental state, she is dismissed from her job. She tries working elsewhere, but her mind remains lost in grief, causing her to lose those jobs as well. Later, we see Ning hosting an Instagram Live, recommending makeup products. Suddenly, the curtain behind her sways. She gets up to check, but finds nothing. Just then, Yutiya's ghost appears behind the ring light, but when Ning turns around, there's no one there. The next day, a rescue team member approaches Ning and informs her that they have found some clothes and shoes. He asks her to identify them. She looks at the items carefully and denies that they belong belonged to Nirmala. The man then mentions that someone had said Nirmala could swim. Ning, surprised, responds, "I didn't know that." Later, we see Ning on Instagram Live, addressing her followers. She shares that her daughter, Nirmala, has been missing for a week and asks them to pray for her safe return. She then opens the door, and a flood of memories rushes back. Moments with Nirmala and Yudiya. She recalls the time when Nirmala gifted her a phone tabletop stand, so she wouldn't have to prop her phone on a can of crackers while live streaming. Back in the present, Yudiya's ghost appears inside, whispering, "Are you sure, Ning?" The next day, we see Ning at a photocopy shop, printing rest in peace pamphlets for her mother. As she leaves, Turta arrives and notices the pamphlet. She asks the shopkeeper if it is the same elderly woman who died in the bridge accident. He confirms, and informs her that the woman who just left was the one riding the scooter, and her daughter, Nirmala, is still missing. She is probably dead now. Turta then hands over her papers for photocopying, and the shopkeeper notices Nirmala's form, pointing it out to her. The scene shifts to the swimming academy, where Turta recalls the day Nirmala attended her swimming class. Later, the rescue team is seen packing up. Mr. Adang informs Ning that it has been 10 days, and the chances of finding Nirmala are 0. We suspect she is dead, and her body has likely been carried far away. Ning insists, "My daughter is still alive." "Are you God? How can you determine someone's fate?" Adang apologizes, explaining that their conclusion is based on research and facts, then leaves. Later that night, Ning is seen crying alone in her home, reminiscing about Nirmala. She then goes live again and says, "I don't know where else to ask for help. My daughter is still missing." The rescue team was searching for her, but they have stopped the search. She gets up to close the curtains. Just then, we see Yudiya behind ring light. Suddenly, her phone starts turning on its own. She notices it, quickly fixes the angle, and resumes her live stream. She says, "I am sure my daughter is still out there. Even if she's not, I need to find her body." Suddenly, her phone spins violently, and out of fear, she falls off her chair. As she picks up her makeup items, the wardrobe door creaks open on its own, and she finds a packet inside. The next day, Ning visits Tetsuya to return his laundry, which she found in her wardrobe the previous night. She explains that her mother had forgotten to return it. Tetsuya asks about her daughter, and she silently gestures no. As she leaves, she turns and asks if she could take over her mother's job, since she is currently unemployed. Tetsuya hesitates, and she begins to walk away. But then, he calls out to her and says she can start working the next day. She happily agrees. Then, we see that Turta is a podcaster. She begins recording her audio, saying in the previous episode, we talked about shattered dreams. This time, we will discuss a tragedy. The next day, we see her following Ning and secretly recording her from a distance. One day, Ning visits the accident site. While looking down from the bridge, she spots Nirmala below. She rushes down and finds her lying there. Just then, Turta stops her, and it is revealed that Nirmala was just a figment of her imagination. The scene then cuts to Turta talking to Gus. She tells him that she wants to invite Ning as a guest on her podcast. Gus supports the idea, saying it could go viral. But will Ning agree? Turta then goes to Ning's house. She steps onto the premises and knocks on the door. To her surprise, it opens on its own. Confused, she cautiously steps inside, calling out for Ning while looking around. She notices some family photographs and quickly takes pictures of them on her phone. Suddenly, she hears someone coughing. She gets scared, and a first aid box falls. As she hurriedly gathers the scattered items, she hears another noise coming from a room. She places the box back on the table and moves toward the source of the sound. She opens the door and sees water dripping from the ceiling. Curious, she reaches out her hand, letting the droplets fall onto her palm. But in an instant, the water turns into blood. The ceiling slowly begins to stain red, and suddenly, Yudiya's body floats down from above, saying, "Who are you?" Terrified, Turta bolts out of the house. The scene then cuts to Ning working at Tetsuya's place. She notices a photograph of a girl, and Tetsuya tells her that her name is Miyako, his daughter, who is 10 years older now. He explains that Miyako and her mother live in Japan, and he is divorced. He then mentions that Nirmala loved making paper cranes. In Japan, cranes symbolize hope. If you fold 1,000 of them, your wish is granted. Since Tetsuya struggles with speaking the local language, he translates his words and tells her, a mother shares a strong bond with her daughter. So if you believe Nirmala is alive, then she is. The scene cuts to Turta showing Gus the pictures she took at Ning's house. Gus informs her that the man in the photos is Salaman, a fake soldier who has deceived many people with fake investment schemes and phony job offers in Taiwan. Turta asks where he is now. Gus replies that he probably ran away, leaving behind his debts and forcing Ning to deal with everything. The next scene shows Ning buying a stack of papers. As she arrives home, Turta and Gus are waiting for her. They ask her to be a guest on Turta's podcast. Ning responds that she will do it only if they help her make 1,000 origami cranes. The scene shifts to Ning and Turta folding the cranes together. Turta expresses her admiration, calling Ning strong and resilient for facing this tragedy alone. Ning replies, "I don't have a choice." Later, as Turta falls asleep, Ning continues making cranes. Suddenly, one of the cranes moves as if stirred by a breeze. The lights begin to flicker, and she hears a whisper, "Are you sure, Ning?" Repeating the same question over and over. Ning starts behaving strangely, as if she is being possessed. Her head suddenly jerks downward, catching Turta's attention. At that moment, Ning looks up, and we see Ya gripping her head, but Turta cannot see her. Turta rushes to calm Ning and gives her water. After a while, Ning returns to normal. The next day, Turta asks Ning, "Do you really believe these cranes will help you find Nirmala?" Ning responds, "It doesn't matter what I believe. I'm not a saint. I have sinned. Nirmala gives me hope that maybe, for once, there is a decent person in my family." She then throws the paper cranes into the river. Meanwhile, Tetsuya, out on a walk, notices the floating cranes. Later, Turta drops Ning off at Tetsuya's place, telling her she will pick her up for the interview in the evening. When Tetsuya returns, he sees Ning cleaning his house. The scene cuts to Gus, suggesting that Turta introduce Ning to Shaman Goa. Turta asks, "Do you think she'd be interested in black magic?" Gus replies, "Even a God-fearing person might resort to black magic when they're desperate. You just need to convince her." Later, Tetsuya stops Ning from cleaning his workspace, saying he doesn't allow anyone inside. However, he later shows her the room. He mentions that the place has a lot of ants and explains that certain species can burrow into plant roots, gnawing at them until they die. After Ning leaves, there's an unsettling feeling about the room as Tetsuya quietly shuts the door behind her. Later, Turta and Ning enter Turta's room to record the podcast. Ning asks why she moved from Jakarta to a small town. Turta admits that she ran away after failing as an athlete due to an accident. Ning reassures her, "You don't need to hide or be afraid. The accident wasn't your fault." They begin recording, and Turta introduces Ning to her audience, sharing her tragic story. She asks Ning if it's true that Nirmala has been missing since that night. Ning confirms. Turta then asks, "Wasn't there a rescue team searching for her?" Ning replies, "There was, but they stopped because they believe she's dead." Turta follows up, "Then how are you so sure she's still alive?" The scene shifts to Turta, suggesting they consult a shaman. "If you believe in the power of those origami cranes, it wouldn't hurt to try." The next day, Turta and Ning meet Gus, who takes them to Shaman Goa. Gawa tells Ning, for 7 days after leaving the physical body, the soul remains trapped in an unfamiliar realm. On the 8th day, stronger spirits can break free and travel anywhere until the 40th day. Your daughter Nirmala is in a dark place now. Ning asks, "Do you mean she's still alive?" Gawa responds, "Something is holding her back, preventing her from leaving that dark place." From a distance, Turta discreetly records the conversation. Gawa continues, "It's your past sins. Redeem them, and Nirmala may be freed." Ning, confused, asks, "What sin?" Gawa responds, "What was the first thing that came to your mind when I said, 'Redeem your sin'?" Ning begins recalling moments from her past, reflecting on the wrongs she may have committed. Later, Ning and Turta arrive at Tetsuya's house. Ning asks him for an advance on her salary, explaining that she needs to go to Sayarbon. He agrees. Later, Turta comments that Tetsuya seems like a nice person. Ning nods. "Yes, he is kind. He has a daughter in Japan. He's divorced." Hearing this, Turta suddenly stops walking. Ning calls out to her to leave. Then, we see Ning and Turta on a bus traveling to Sayarbon. Ning shares, "What I did to him is probably my greatest sin." In a flashback, a man named Wichak is fixing his bike. He asks Ning, "Where are you going?" Ning responds, "I thought marrying you would improve my life and lead to a brighter future. But now I see that I married a middle schooler obsessed with racing." Wichak defends, I am working hard for you, but it's never enough, Ning retorts. I had to work on my own to meet my needs. You just focus on your racing and your sick mother, Wichok replies. I have never once spoken ill of your mother. Ning takes Nirmala's hand and walks away. Yudiya follows them, and they get into Solomon's car. After they leave, Wichok loses control. In the chaos, petrol spills onto the burning candle, causing the fire to spread rapidly and engulf him, and he starts burning. Back in the present, Ning says he was actually a good man. She pulls a newspaper clipping from her bag and shows Turta. The headline reads, "Abandoned by wife. Man sets himself on fire." They finally reach their destination. Ning asks Turta to wait outside. A nurse informs Ning, 2 weeks ago, Wichok tried to kill himself. But that wasn't the first time. He has made multiple attempts before. She opens the door, and Ning steps into the room. She sees Wichok's burned body lying on the bed. She says softly, "Wichok, I had a motorcycle accident. Yuriya didn't make it, and Nirmala is still missing in the river." Wichok struggles to speak. "Nirmala," he murmurs weakly. Meanwhile, outside the window, Turta is secretly recording Ning. Ning says, "I'm here to apologize. I did this to you. My greatest sin might be the reason Nirmala is still missing." Wichok whispers, "Kill me." Ning moves closer to him. Wichok continues, "I will forgive you if you kill me." The pillow. Ning hesitantly picks up a pillow. She moves forward to suffocate him, but then says, "I can't." Suddenly, Wichok starts biting his own tongue violently. His body convulses. He falls from the bed and starts slamming his head against the bed, harder and harder, until, eventually, he kills himself. At that moment, the hospital staff rushes in, while outside, Turta stands frozen, deeply disturbed. As they head back home, Ning thanks Turta for her help and says, "You should go back to your place." Later, Turta calls Gus and tells him everything that happened in Sarabon. She says, "Please tell Goa that Ning is serious about seeking redemption for her sins. I hope Goa can help find Nirmala." Striving for viral content doesn't mean anything anymore. With that, Turta deletes every recording of Ning. Meanwhile, Ning goes live on Instagram, doing a natural look tutorial. She sprays toner on her skin, but after a few moments, blood begins spraying from the bottle. With her eyes closed, she dabs it onto her face. When she opens her eyes and sees the blood, panic sets in. Suddenly, Wichok's burnt hand emerges from her ring light, grabbing her face. She stumbles backward, rushing out of the room. But when she looks back, there's nothing there. Shaken, she sits, and just then the same hand grabs her leg. She lets out a terrified scream and runs, fleeing all the way to Tetsuya's house. Then, Yutiya's ghost is seen there. Ning pleads, "Can I stay here for the night?" Tetsuya agrees. She asks if he believes in ghosts, but he doesn't answer. As he settles her in a room, he finally says, "I don't believe in ghosts." He walks away and says, "No ghost can disturb me. The only things that haunt me are ants and the memories of my daughter." Just then, Yudiya's ghost is seen watching him. As Ning closes her eyes, she begins to see Nirmala in her dreams. Visions of her past and her pleas for help. However, Ning covers her ears and forces herself to sleep. Meanwhile, a body is seen emerging from the river. The next day, Tetsuya is seen watching an old birthday video of his daughter, Miyako. He then asks Ning to prepare some snacks for the kids, saying, "I want them to join Miyako's birthday celebration today." Ning agrees. Just then, Turta arrives and calls out to Ning. She informs her that a body has been found in the river. They both hurry to the riverside, where Ning recognizes that it is not Nirmala. She then approaches Gawa, who is standing at a distance. Gawa tells her, "You redeemed the wrong sin. You know whose body that is, don't you?" Ning replies, "I had to let go, otherwise I would have drowned." Gawa states, "It's obvious that he is the one keeping Nirmala captive." Ning responds, "Don't ask me to apologize, let alone beg for mercy before that man's body. It will never happen. He hurt me, my mother, and Nirmala." Gawa suggests, "You must perform a river purification ceremony. The ritual will compel Solomon's spirit to release Nirmala from his grip." Ning then asks Gus to help Gawa prepare for the purification ceremony by the river. The scene cuts to Ning introducing Turta to Tetsuya. Tetsuya remarks, "I've heard about her. Many kids are afraid of her." They say you're too strict as a coach. You let them drown, Terta counters. It's a training method, Tetsuya interjects. Even Nirmala was afraid of you. Hearing this, Ning is shocked and asks, "You never told me Nirmala took your swimming class." Terta responds, "Yes, she came once. This man dropped her off." Ning questions, "You never told me you'd met Nirmala before. What else are you hiding?" She then asks Terta to leave. Turning to Tetsuya, she requests one more favor. Later, Terta approaches Gus, inquiring about Goa. He replies, "You are not allowed to participate in the ritual. Only men can be present. A woman's presence would make the ceremony meaningless." Terta leaves, angered by his words. That night, Ning is seen handing a bundle of money to Gus. He tells her to go home, assuring her that he will update her on the results. She returns to the car, where Tetsuya consoles her, saying, "Nirmala must be proud of you." Ning sighs. "Maybe I should learn from you how to make peace with loss." Tetsuya replies, "That's why my house's door is always open for children. They help fill the void, especially Nirmala. She used to remind me of my daughter." And then he drops Ning at her home. The scene cuts to the ritual being performed as many villagers search for Nirmala in the forest. Suddenly, someone shouts, "We found her!" At the same time, Tetsuya is seen quietly leaving the ritual site. Moments later, Gus and Gawa arrive at Ning's house. When she opens the door, Gus hands her Nirmala's clothes. Gawa solemnly says, "Your sins are too heavy to be redeemed. Nirmala's loss is your punishment. No one can help you find her unless..." The scene shifts to Ning, crying and vomiting. She stumbles inside, gulps down water, and drops the glass, which shatters on the floor. She collapses, sobbing. Suddenly, she sees the ghosts of Yudiya and Wichok standing before her. Terrified, she asks, "Where is Nirmala? Is she with you?" She then apologizes to her mother, to Wichok, and finally, to Nirmala. Gawa's words echo in her mind. "No one can help you find Nirmala unless you follow her." Trembling, she picks up a shard of broken glass and stabs her own neck, only to realize that she is holding a hair clip in her hand. Then, Terta recalls the day Tetsuya enrolled Nirmala in swimming classes. She also remembers Ning telling her that Tetsuya has a daughter in Japan. Noticing that both Miyako and Nirmala wear the same hair clip, suspicion grows in her mind. She returns to her room and searches for information about Tetsuya. To her horror, she discovers an article stating that Tetsuya had killed his own wife and daughter, but pleaded not guilty. She clicks pictures of the article and rushes to inform Gus. However, she overhears a conversation between Goa and Gus's father, revealing how they deceived Ning, with Gus's help, to reclaim the money Solomon had taken from Gus's father. The so-called redemption of sin was merely a manipulation. Outraged, Terta confronts them for their fraud and then storms out. Terta then heads to Ning's house to apologize. But Ning is actually at Tetsuya's place. She asks, "Is it true that you took Nirmala to swimming classes?" But Tetsuya ignores her question, instead talking about green tea and offering her a drink. Meanwhile, Terta notices a shadow moving inside Ning's house. Ning persists, repeating her question. Tetsuya finally responds, "The first time Yudiya brought Nirmala here, I felt at peace. She reminded me so much of Miyako." In a flashback, Nirmala is seen wearing a dress that Tetsuya gave her. Seeing her in it, he becomes deeply emotional. He continues, "Every time I see Nirmala, my longing for my daughter disappears instantly." Meanwhile, thinking Ning is still inside, Terta reveals Tetsuya is a liar. He's not a divorcee. His wife and daughter died in a car accident, one he caused intentionally. At the same time, Ning questions him further. "That night, when I picked up Yudiya and Nirmala, she seemed to be in pain. What happened?" Tetsuya replies, "She fell. She was running around and tripped." Just then, Terta spots Wichok's ghost inside the house. The spirit suddenly haunts her, causing her to stumble and flee in terror. Ning asks, "Why did she fall?" Once again, Tetsuya deflects, talking about tea instead. But Ning asks again what really happened. Why was she in pain? Tetsuya replies, "She's naughty. Miyako was naughty too. "I don't like naughty children. Kids should respect their fathers." Ning then takes out Nirmala's dress and hair clip from her bag. She demands, "What really happened? Do you know where Nirmala is?" A flashback reveals the truth. Tetsuya had called Nirmala Miyako and forcefully lifted her in his arms. Frightened, Nirmala cried and struggled to be put down. In her attempt to escape, she tumbled down the stairs. Tetsuya rushed to her as she cried in pain. Just then, Yutiya arrived, ordering him to stop touching Nirmala before taking her away. That night, he secretly followed Ning's scooter. After the accident, he checked Ning and Yutiya, then carried Nirmala away with him. It is finally revealed that Tetsuya has been keeping Nirmala captive at his workplace all along. The night Ning stayed at his house, it was actually Nirmala who was pleading for help, but Ning dismissed it as a mere hallucination. Tetsuya suddenly strikes Ning with the teapot and sneers, "Naughty kids must be punished." He ties her hands, but just then, Terta arrives and hits him on the back. She quickly tries to untie Ning, who gasps, "Nirmala is here." Tetsuya regains his balance, and as Terta points a knife at him, he swiftly overpowers her. He beats her badly until she collapses. Ning is then seen tied to a chair. Tetsuya smirks. "Now my daughter will teach you how to make an origami crane." He takes Nirmala with him and walks to Ning. Picking up a cutter, he slices her thumb and forces her to press it onto a document, signing over custody of Nirmala to him. Turning to Terta, he taunts, "With this paper, Nirmala is officially my daughter. You better not be too harsh on her." Then, addressing Nirmala, he says, "Why don't you show us how you make origami?" Just then, the lights flicker. Ning starts behaving strangely, and Yutiya is seen hugging her, only for Ning to suddenly become possessed. Everyone watches in horror as she vomits blood and screams, "Let her go." She levitates before crashing down, breaking the chair and setting herself free. Tetsuya panics and flees into the woods with Nirmala. Ning chases after them. They reach a dead end. Ning says, "She is my daughter." Tetsuya insists, "She is happy with me." In a desperate struggle, Ning lunges at him. In the chaos, they both plunge into the river. Terta arrives moments later and embraces Nirmala. After some time, Ning miraculously emerges from the water. The scene then cuts to the swimming academy. Terta hears a news report. Ning was found guilty of negligence in her husband Solomon's death and sentenced to 5 months, with time served deducted. As a key witness in her daughter's abduction case involving Tetsuya, a Japanese national, she remains in a women's correctional facility. It is then revealed that Terta is taking care of Nirmala. 5 months later, Nirmala and Terta are seen joyfully playing in the pool. Adang, a member of the rescue team, approaches Ning and says, "I really want to support you and Nirmala." Ning replies, "We're fine on our own." She then joins Terta and Nirmala in the pool, and the movie ends. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a scare. Until next time, stay spooky.